Hey, this is Dara. I am a gender therapist in Colorado. So I have been on YouTube for a little while making videos called Ask a Gender Therapist. And basically, I answer questions from readers of my blog and viewers of the YouTube series that are transgender related, and I answer those questions through short videos. And so this is a little different. I thought I'd give this a try where every now and then I'm just going to post a video about something that's on my mind. It might be in regards to something I think about as a gender therapist, or it might be something else transgender related, but it's going to be unedited. That way I can easily just put my thoughts out there, stream of consciousness, and then push upload and have it up on YouTube right away. So, hopefully you'll find this to be of help. I decided today I wanted to talk about my perception of conversion therapy. And so the reason this has come up in conversation, and I'm sure many of you know this, is because in December of 2014, which was only a little less than a month ago, a teenager named Leila Alcorn, who lived in Ohio, ended her life, and she put a suicide note up on Tumblr that let everybody know that one of the main reasons she did it is because she's transgender, and her parents were unsupportive to her in terms of encouraging her to transition. In fact, they had her go to conversion therapy in the hopes of her no longer feeling that way. And so this led in large part to her depression and her hopelessness. And so this has been a big topic of conversation here lately on the internet. And so I thought I would throw in my 2 cents. So, real quick, conversion therapy is something that in the past mainly has been talked about when it comes to sexual orientation. But it certainly is being used as well for those who are transgender. So this is going to just kind of be a broad, all-encompassing discussion of conversion therapy. And sorry if I look like I'm being a little shifty, but I have some notes that I wrote down that I want to make sure I don't forget. So, all right. So conversion therapy most of the time is something that is based in religious beliefs. So this isn't going to be a conversation or debate about religion. But basically, what happens is that if somebody feels like their feelings, whether it's about their sexual orientation or their gender, conflicts with their beliefs in whoever their God is and whatever they believe their God thinks about them, then they might decide that they want to go to therapy to try to figure out how to not be that way anymore. And additionally, there are parents who have kids or teenagers who tell them that they feel this way, and then the parents then have those kids or teenagers go into that type of therapy in the hopes of basically changing their minds about that. And so, yeah, the main goal is for somebody who is feeling expressing that they have same-sex attractions. The main goal would be for them to either no longer have those same-sex attractions, or that they manage them to the extent where they're not acting out on those attractions. And then for those who are transgender, it has to do with obviously trying to change the client's perception of their gender and having them go back to believing that they are the gender they were assigned at birth, and or if those feelings don't go away, that they basically don't act out on them. So basically they don't transition at all. So like I said, this is not going to be a debate about religion. I understand that everybody has their own religious beliefs, and I'm not here to try to challenge that. But when it comes down to it, the premise of this makes me very uncomfortable, because it's basically saying that you have a mental disorder, whether it's same-sex attraction or that you feel like you are not the gender you were assigned at birth. So the fact that that's the basic premise, that this is a mental disorder and this is not something that God would approve of. This is a sin. And also for some people, they say, oh, this is the sin this is the sin you were meant to carry in your life, because everybody has a sin they have to struggle with. This is the one you were given, and so we need to make sure you don't then act out on it. I've also heard that as an approach as well. So basically, at the root of it, we're saying we need to change those feelings, or we need to make sure you don't express those feelings or act out on those feelings, because God would not be happy about that. You're going to go to hell, etc. And so it's difficult to talk about this without sounding like I'm not being judgmental against those who have this religious belief. So bear with me. So what happens is that somebody has these feelings, and what is most difficult about this and what is most damaging about this is that their feelings are then not valid, whether they have same-sex attraction or they are expressing the fact that they're transgender. What is happening is that they're being told your feelings are not valid and we need to change them. And so, as you can see, this can be a very slippery slope, and what it encourages is repression. You are being taught to repress your true self, your true feelings. I mean, we're talking about somebody's identity as a part of who they are. It's not just a preference or a whim or something that they fancy. I mean, this is who somebody is at their core. This type of therapy is designed to have you not feel that way, and or to have you just not act out on those feelings. And so, as I'm sure that many of you can understand, that there's a lot of damage that can happen when this takes place. So although this is my opinion about it, I just wanted to reiterate that there are many organizations out there who agree, and I wrote down a couple of them: American Psychological Association, American Psychiatric Association, National Association of Social Workers, American Academy of Pediatrics, and there were probably 4 or 5 other organizations on that list who have very high credentials in terms of how they feel about mental health, and they all agree that conversion therapy is very damaging. It contributes to depression and self-harm. And so here's the thing that people are debating right now, is whether or not conversion therapy should be banned. So I thought about this a lot, and actually my wife helped me crystallize a little bit what it is that I was thinking about this. Do I think that conversion therapy should be banned for kids and teenagers? So I guess we would say, therefore, under the age of 18. You bet. I do think that it should be banned. I think that if somebody is not of the age of consent where they're able to make their own decision about whether or not they want to go into conversion therapy, then this should not happen at all. So what am I talking about when it comes to those who are 18 and older? It gets a little trickier there, because we are talking about somebody's freedom of choice. We're talking about someone to have the right to self-determination. So one encounter I had back when I worked at the Pride Center in Colorado Springs that made me take a more compassionate understanding towards this is that I met several people who had gone through conversion therapy. This is because Focus on the Family is right here in Colorado Springs, and myself and my boss, we met with several people who had gone through conversion therapy so we could understand better what it is that they were struggling with, so we weren't judging or demonizing them. And so we spent a good 3 hours together at a local restaurant just talking, getting to know 3 different people who had gone through conversion therapy. And by the end of that time, you can't help but hear what they are saying, and that they are saying, my belief in God and the way I believe in God is so strong that I want to be able to do whatever it takes to follow in his path or his footsteps. And what I believe that means is that I cannot act out on my homosexual feelings. And so for the most part, they reiterated that they still feel that way. They still have same-sex attractions. They just, one of the people went ahead and got married in a heterosexual marriage and had kids. One of the people decided to be completely celibate instead of getting in a relationship. And so to hear a human side of it, you do understand that this is their right. If this is really how they feel, then they do have the right to pursue that sort of therapy. But again, these were grown adults who made this decision on their own. So again, in a perfect world, I still wish conversion therapy didn't exist, because that means that nobody thinks that this is shameful on any level. But because it does still exist, we have to have the reality of that. I feel like if somebody does go into conversion therapy as an adult, that there should be some sort of list of warnings or risks, like you put on a pack of smokes. I mean, you just say, look, here, I'm required to give you this list to let you know why this is a bit risky for us to be going into this territory. And you give the client that, and then they sign it. I do think that should be something that should be actually regulated, that it would be unethical if you did not provide that. The problem with conversion therapy is that a lot of people who practice it are not necessarily licensed counselors. And so then, yeah, I'm not here to comment on the political or all those other aspects of that, because it can get really messy. But I'm saying, in an ideal situation, knowing that this still does exist, what is it that can be done to best prepare people for it who decide they want to get into it? So, in summary, I am in support of banning conversion therapy for kids and for teenagers. And for those who are 18 and older, who are adults, who have been warned of the risks of it, I do understand that they have the freedom of choice and the right to self-determination if that is truly what they feel like they need to pursue. Even though, all in all, I look forward to the day where there doesn't have to be conversion therapy, because there should be no shame in being who you are. So that's it for my segment today about what's on my mind. And so leave some comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back later with more. See ya.